definitely we could say that Sunjay is always there for her. And, based on the legend and the epilogue, they're going to get married in the end, right? Wink, wink. If you haven't seen episode 9 and 10 of Lovely Runner, please check them out before listening to this review. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden. So, this episode 9 was pretty much a continuation of what happened at the end of episode 8. So, it didn't say that he died. He did the surgery, and I'm guessing he was in a coma. So she wanted to go back anyway to try and stop what happened. So apparently, after her accident, September 1st, 2008, she because she went back to the future, her the one that was left, her past self, lost all recollection of what happened. So um so pretty much nothing happened. No police report was filed, and it's funny because it was the lieutenant who got her that time, right? And Sunjay, but she didn't remember what happened, so no police report was filed. But it's kind of weird because Sunjay was there, so shouldn't he have helped file the report? But we know how her past self is. She doesn't want anything to do with Sunjay. So I guess the guy tried to come at her again May 9th. So this is what the mom was talking about when she was like 14 years versus, you know, 15 years. So it was the accident that happened May 9th, 2009, that pretty much um set the tone for him getting stabbed in his hotel room. So yeah, so he came after her again, and that's when Sunjay you know saw her bag and stuff like that. So he went and found her, and that's the accident that she was referring to, that she can't look at him because he every time he reminds. I'm like, how does that make sense though? You saying you can't look at him when everything is played out. Um, she he's the one who got the brunt of the beating, right? He's the one who was fighting with the guy. So yeah, I understand she's saying, every time, I don't know. I guess she wanted someone to blame, so she blames Sunjay. It was easier to blame Sunjay than to blame the person who actually did the act to her. So I'm like, mm, okay. So then now she goes back to 2009, which is where she is in college. So freshman in college. And they had to go to a retreat. And, you know, when they were on the train, the guy was like, one of them was like, oh, there's a legend, if you kiss someone while while you're on this trip, freshman year or whatever, you're going to end up marrying them. So all this stuff happened where she's like trying to avoid Sunjay because she doesn't want to she doesn't want him to be anywhere near her to like cause any kind of harm to him, blah blah blah. So but she ends up being near him anyway because she wanted to run away at night. Like there are some things that she does and I'm like, do you like, are you okay? Because she doesn't even read the signs, right? She's trying to run away from a camping trip at night. So she accidentally goes to where the wild boars are. Like she keeps putting herself in danger And then after that, she's telling Sunji, like, why are you always near me? Why are you always this? Why are you always I'm like, and then the man is like, because I'm worried about you. Like, stop worrying me. Exactly. Stop putting yourself in these situations. And then after that, like, it's she could be very annoying sometimes. Um, so with the epilogue, it showed you that they did kiss each other, and she was singing his song, the song that he wrote for her, while he was giving her like a piggyback ride. But like like, I know why she was saying those hurtful things to him, but it's like she's trying to save future him. But I'm like, also, this man just endures a lot from like her and from his love for her. And I'm just like part of what she said is true. Like, why do you continue to take it even though you keep getting hurt, you know? So I don't know. Like, from afar, it's like it's a cute love story, but like when you really like look deep into the thing, I could not go through all of that for that. Like, no. How many times has she rejected him, whether it's past or the future one? And I don't know. I guess he still loves her. Episode 10 was definitely much better, in my opinion, because you it was definitely funnier. Episode 9 was just more her running away from him and then being mean to him, but yet drunk kissing him, right? um in episode 10 was more like, especially with how 9 ended, he was like, she's from the future. And I feel like, yes, he did have a crush. He had a crush on his present soul. So, his present soul. But when future soul came in, he fell more in love with her, right? Because that one was the bulldozer soul. The other one, his present soul, didn't want anything to do with him, right? And also because, she was so in love with Taesong. So now here we kind of have, you know, a um little background into Taesong. So maybe when we saw him, um, so maybe when we saw him in the future when he was looking over her house, maybe that was part of, that was when he was a detective, because in episode 10, she finds out that he's the lieutenant's son, and she was like, you'd be so good at being a detective. So I'm guessing that that's what he is in the future. Well, at least that's what he's going to be in the future now, right? Because he's very good at putting, little pieces together, which is very different from Sunjay. Sunjay is more like, you really need to be literal with him, right? He doesn't really understand these little clues until the very end of the episode. And the whole interaction between Taesong and um Taesong and Sunjae was hilarious when they were both holding the bucket of water, and then you have the mom who is like hyping one guy, and then you have the grandma who's hyping another guy, and then you just have Soul in the middle saying like, oh my gosh, she needs to like they need to stop, right? And then they started fighting because Taesong was like, he was actually interested in Soul, right? But like that part was like so dangerous because they had the whole um the light was coming down with all the water on the floor. So luckily, nothing bad happened there. And it was actually Taesong who told him something like, you're blind because she's doing all this because she likes you. But like, you can't really fault him, because she was very mean in the previous episode. And then you have him asking his friends for you have him asking his friends for feedback or for advice, and obviously they don't know anything themselves. So it's like, when he's like, if a girl tells you she's from the future, and then he's like, that's a mean way to reject someone. And if I didn't want to see a girl, I would tell her I'm from the future too. So like, there are certain things that it was a lot of mixed signals, even though, she she said she wasn't going to send him any more mixed signals, right? And it would be really weird too, because it would just be like his character is, like, I don't want to say pathetic, but pathetic, because if she kept being mean to him and he actually did go to the US, only for in the end, for them to get together when she goes back to the future, like, it would be like, really? All the stuff she said to you, even though, like, we know why she said it to him, but he doesn't know. And for him to still like her after all this time would have been weird. So I did like how they ended the episode, where like he was supposed to go to the US. You know, his father bought him a ticket, but he remembered what Taesong said, and then he remembered something else. So he went to go get the time capsule because he saw a sign at the airport saying, talking about a time capsule. So he went to go get the time capsule, and he read her note, and then he remembered something about, when he asked her, like, do I die in the future or something. And then that's when he like confronted her, because he didn't go to the US. He confronted her and was like, um you know are you doing this because of something that happens in the future? And obviously she can't say because time freezes. But he's like, I'd rather you stay close to me. And which it makes sense. They're in 2009. Something doesn't happen to him until 2023. You're gonna stop liking each other or stop and not enjoy the time with each other because of something that's gonna happen in 2023. When in reality, if you both put yourselves together and solve the crime right now, right? It's because he sees Sunjae, and he knows who he is, and that's why he goes to hurt him. But the fact that Sunjae missed the audition was during the time that he was flying. So also, I'm guessing that Taesong decided he didn't want to be in the band anymore, because he's the one who used to be in the band before. Then they replaced him with someone else, and then they wanted to replace the lead singer. But the fact that Sunjae didn't go to the audition, they showed you in the future that Eclipse is only a 3-member band. It's no longer 4. So now it's just a matter of, okay, well, if he didn't go to the USA, that means he didn't get his shoulder fixed, right? His shoulder, the therapy that he was supposed to get. If he didn't do the if he didn't do the audition, and we know in the future he's not part of the band. Now the question is, did he continue and become an actor, or what is it? Because he went to college. In the previous timeline, he didn't go to college. But this time around, he went to college, and he went to college for PE, but he was also taking classes for film and music. So maybe he continued and went into music. I mean, not music, but he went into film. So maybe he's an actor and she wanted to be a film director. So maybe in the future, that's what we're going to see, that they're working, you know, in the same field, kind of together, kind of the way it was supposed to be, right? Because this is another thing that I like, that they got back together at the end of episode 10, because it's like, okay, well, where is this going? Because she technically didn't need to go back a third time, right? Because if they had just wrote it that they got together and just left it at that, we could have just had this happy ending. But no, the guy got out of jail, and he had to and then he came back, right? And he decided to hurt Sunjae versus going after Soul, because Sunjae was the whole reason he went to jail. So yeah. The other thing about episode 10 that I liked was their whole imagination when when first of all, it was when he saw Taesong with the flowers with Soul, when he was like imagining how they were reconciling, and then but he was in the cafeteria, and he like, yelled at the other guy across from him. And then the other one I liked was when what's his name? His best friend. When his best friend went and cut his hair, and to like, it was so dramatic. He was like, I'm telling, I really want you. He's like, really? Really? And then they were like hugging on the floor, but then in reality, he was just like, I'll do it. Yeah, he called me and told me that it, da, 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 da. So he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And he was like, that's all it took. I wish he told me before that. So that part was funny. There were a lot of funny moments, um, you know, in these 2 episodes. I'm not gonna lie. This show is really funny, but sometimes it could be like, are you kidding me? And then the whole interaction when both siblings were drunk. So the brother is drunk because his girlfriend broke up with him, but then Soul's best friend kissed him, and they did that Spider-Man kiss. And then but when they were both drunk on the rooftop, she was, complaining about the fact that, quote, Sunjae kissed the other girl, but didn't really kiss. So like, it was like they were having a conversation with each other, but not really having a conversation with each other. They were talking about like 2 different things, but their conversation seemed to kind of match a little bit. So that was funny. And I actually thought that Sunjae would have heard her, because he was walking home saying like, was she really jealous? Was she really jealous? But then, she was up on the roof actually being jealous, but she acted like nothing happened. But I am excited to see what episode 11 entails, because now they're together in and I did like the father's subtle thing that said like, "Ooh, I think I found my daughter-in-law." When Soul told him to have Sunjae go to the U.S. as soon as possible. But yeah, I am looking forward to episode 11. That's gonna be their lovey-dovey thing. So far, my favorite episode of this show is episode 8. So we'll see if episode 11 tops that. And this wraps up our journey on The Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on The Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.